This today is Dr. David Morens, Senior Scientific Advisor to the Director at the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. Pursuant to Committee on Oversight and Accountability Rule 9G, the witness will please stand and raise his right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. Let the record show that the witness answered in the affirmative. The Select Subcommittee certainly appreciates you for being here today, Dr. Morens, and we do look forward to your testimony. Dr. Morens, pursuant to House rules and committee practice, witnesses appearing before the Select Subcommittee are given the opportunity to make initial presentations summarizing their testimony after opening statements by the chair and ranking member, which we have just done. Dr. Morens, it is our understanding through your counsel that you have declined to provide an opening statement. Is that correct? Okay. Let the record reflect that the witness has declined the opportunity to provide an opening statement. We will therefore proceed directly with member questions. So I now recognize myself for questions. On January 18, Dr. Morens, you sat for a transcribed interview with us. While not sworn in, you were advised by counsel that Title 18, Section 1001 applied to that testimony, and if you made false statements, you could be subject to criminal prosecution. Do you recall that?
I recall
Your microphone's not on, I don't think. Yeah.
Do I keep it on or only when I talk?
Whenever you're talking, yes.
Okay. Sorry, I remember you telling me, I think what you're referring to is telling me that even though I wasn't under oath, I was bound to tell the truth. Is that what you said?
Yes, and that you
Yes.
could be subject to criminal prosecution.
Yes, you told me that.
Okay. Today you are under oath, and we will be comparing your statements today to those you gave previously. The majority of my questions today will be simple yes or no questions. On April 21, 2021, you wrote, "I can either send stuff to Tony, Fauci, on his private email or hand it to him at work or at his house." Did you ever send information related to COVID-19 to Dr. Fauci's personal email?
I don't remember if I did. I may have, but I certainly told him some things that he asked me to tell him about the situation with Peter.
Thank you. On May 13th, 2021, you wrote that you connected a reporter to Dr. Fauci via your secret back channel. What back channel did you have for Dr. Fauci?
Well, all these terms like secret back channel and the other one you mentioned were just jokes. They were just, jokes that I made in dealing with Peter because he was under death threats and was very depressed. And it was sort of the group of people who were Peter's friends were trying to cheer him up by making snarky jokes and euphemisms that were, not true. But there was no back channel. The back channel was, the back channel to Tony was the same one that it applies to everybody. And may I say...
Which is? Which is what?
Well, I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
Tony does not want me to connect anybody to him directly. And with one exception a couple of weeks ago, I never did. But the back channel was a regular channel within government where if somebody wanted to talk to Tony, I would tell them, we have a regular process here. It's called ODAM, Office of the Director AM Group, the inner circle. And the request to do something, it would be to talk to Tony or to give a talk or whatever, would go to this group, and they would meet in person with Tony every morning and say, we got a message that so-and-so wants to talk to you, or so-and-so wants to, something from you. And then he would decide, usually right there. I was never involved in that, at least not in recent years. I used to go to those meetings many years ago, but...
So is that the channel you're referring to?
Yes, that's the channel. It's not really a back channel, but I'm being, making snarky comments. It's a well-established, still functioning channel. I guess it's still functioning, but certainly before I was put on administrative leave, That channel was still operating, and it's the way things were done.
So there was a connection, you said, just in this statement now, you said there was a connection a couple weeks ago that you did not do. What was that?
I don't remember the details, but I think it was somebody, maybe Jerry Kirsch, who's a former NIH Institute director, wanted to talk to Tony. And I think I said something like, because he used to be a director, he knows Tony personally. And I think I said something like, you can just talk to him directly, you don't have to go through me.
Okay. In addition to your Gmail, do you also have a Proton Mail account?
I do, yes.
Okay. On January 18, you testified that you did not conduct official business via personal email. Dr. Morens, did you ever conduct official business via your personal email?
Well, I didn't do anything that I thought was official business. I understand now that there is some discrepancy between what I thought and what y'all may think about what's official business. But may I back up and tell you about this whole Gmail thing, since Gmail versus NIH email and record destruction and FOIA seem to be the most important thing you're interested in, and rightly so. I've had a Gmail account for many years, and I don't know how long I've had the Proton account, but it's for a while, which I almost never used the Proton account. But I did use the Gmail account. And and also I should say that going back to at least 2010, if not, going back to at least 2013 and possibly to 2010, the IT people in my institute put one icon on my government phone in which emails and Gmails were fused. That is to say, I had a blue icon that said mail. And if I got a mail, every morning I would get up and do email, open up my NIH emails and Gmails fused, knowing they were fused. But I didn't think it was a problem because I could usually tell whether a mail I was looking at was Gmail or government mail. And I also knew how to go into my phone and do a few clicks and things and find out if I needed to find out. Or I could go to my Gmail on the computer where there wasn't that fusion. So anyways, there's a long-standing problem with fusion of Gmail and email for me.
Dr. Morens, I will tell you, I can understand that. I have non-official emails on a separate phone that are fused, or I can separate them, but not my official ones. And that doesn't account for telling people that you're doing official business with that they should contact you on your Gmail.
That's true. I was just
and especially to avoid FOIA and to be able to potentially delete things you don't want in the New York Times, which was your comment. On January 18, you testified no when asked if you ever deleted anything from your official account that could be considered a federal record. Dr. Morens, are you aware that the destruction or attempted destruction of federal records carries a potential punishment of both imprisonment and a fine?
I was not aware of that, and I was not aware that anything I deleted, like emails, was a federal record, because we have federal records training periodically, and the training that I recall we received defined a federal record in a very different way than you may be thinking of it. None of it was defined as an email.
Well, that may be something to look into, is what your training looks like when it comes to federal records, because it's far different from mine. On October 5, 2021, you wrote, "Peter, I just got news that a FOIA picked up an email I sent you saying Tony commented that he was brain dead. I deleted that email, but I now learn that every email I ever got since 1998 is captured and will be turned over whether or not instantly deleted." On June 28, 2021, you wrote, "Peter Daszak emailed me and Tony congratulating Tony on standing up for science. That email fell into the hands of the congressman, probably via FOIA, of someone who didn't delete it, as I did, delete all of Peter's emails and others related to Origin. Mine was erased long ago. I verified that today, and I feel pretty sure Tony's was too. Dr. Morens, did you ever delete or attempt to delete a federal record?
No, but let me explain why it seems to be discrepant. You can't delete an email from NIH, from an NIH computer system. They're all retained and can be accessed for any purpose, including a FOIA. Now, I don't know what they normally do, whether when the FOIA is required, how far back they go or whatever, but it's my understanding that if they want to, they can go back all the way to the beginning, maybe even I came to NIH in 1998. And at that time, when we came to there when I came there in 1998, we were instructed to delete emails or to move them into PST files frequently because they jammed the computer. And so I got into the habit of every morning, looking at all my emails. And when I say email, I mean NIH email. Looking at my NIH emails, and some of them can be dispensed with quickly and then just deleting them. Other ones that I would need to keep or thought I might keep would be moved into a PST file so that my inbox wouldn't crash. And I must say, based on my understanding of what a federal record was, I truly don't think I have ever seen a federal record in 26 years of being at NIH. And if I'm wrong about that, I apologize because it just never dawned on me. I've done work at the National Archives, and at one point about 10 or 15 years ago, I contacted a records person lady and said, I have some documents that could be something the National Archives would want. And she said, nah, I don't think so. You can destroy it. And I didn't destroy it. I still have it.
There's a difference between the federal archives and your day-to-day work as a federal employee, employed by the American people. You seem to know a lot about FOIA. You investigated FOIA. You talked to the people that implement FOIA. And you need to know, if you didn't, that it is a federal offense if you even attempt to delete something that would be considered for the federal record. I now recognize the ranking member, Dr. Reese from California, for 5 minutes of questions.